This is the Loose Pass Rugby Podcast, only on Megafoon Rugby.
Welcome back to this rather later than normal Loose Pass Rugby Pod. Hugh's got something exciting lined up, which is the reason why we're late. He kicked me off the airwaves on Wednesday night, unceremoniously, after I helped him. But, what can you say? Anyway, I'm just kidding you. Welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back. We managed to squeeze one in this week, even though I was doing something very exciting in our usual slot yesterday, which hopefully people will see soon.
Yeah. So you want to tell me about that, or should we just wait?
Do you want me to tell you now? Okay, fine. I was interviewing the head coach and the captain at the same time of the Zimbabwe national rugby team, the Sables. I did a video about Zimbabwe and their qualification for the Rugby World Cup in 2027 a couple of weeks ago, or maybe more than a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, which did very well. And you, through your various contacts, there was a Bulls link there somewhere, managed to procure me the head coach and the captain on the same Zoom call to ask them about the qualification, what they did right, what they did wrong. Well, they didn't do very much wrong, clearly, and what they did different, I should say. So that will be out on my channel. Well, it'll be out on both channels because it's a collab. You can do collabs on YouTube now, so it appears on both channels. And that will be about how an interview with those two guys, basically. The kind of teaser that I can give for it, and something that I didn't realize, is that Zimbabwe didn't play a game of rugby for 2 years and then came back and won back-to-back Rugby Africa Championships and qualified for the World Cup.
Now, that says something.
Amazing.
And they also kicked our own team, Namibia. Our good friend Ari Ogaard is a Namibia team backer, also a Namibian himself. That little Bulls connection, I can tell you right now. Rugby World Cup Hall of Famer, Kennedy Timber, good friend of ours, a good friend of this channel. Also ex-Zimbabwean. He helped us organize that. So looking forward to that. You must make sure to let me know so that I can also punt it a bit. I watched a bit of it. It's a very good video.
You mentioned Namibia. I asked them about Namibia. I said, will you be cheering Namibia on in the Rapid Challenge that's happening? And they had a little smile because they're big rivals. So it's a bit like asking you, are you cheering the Stormers on in the playoffs?
Sacrilege. Sacrilege. I'm never going to happen.
They said no. They said they hope that Africa has 3 teams at the next Rugby World Cup.
Just explain that fancy word you just used, the repechage. What is that?
Well, it's not called that anymore. So what they had was a tournament to decide the final spot at the Rugby World Cup. So as I believe, out of the 24 teams that are going to the next Rugby World Cup, 23 have qualified. The most recent to qualify... No, they haven't qualified. So Chile have qualified, which means it's 23 out of 24. So the Rapid Challenge it's actually called the Final Qualification Tournament, or the FQT. So if you search Rugby World Cup FQT, you'll find it. And it's 4 teams that are playing off for that last spot. Samoa being the biggest one.
We're talking about they lost against Chile.
Yeah, Samoa, who lost against Chile. That was kind of the big shock. You've also got in there Belgium, who finished 5th in Rugby Europe. Rugby Europe get a lot of spots in the Rugby World Cup for whatever reason. You've got Namibia, who, because they were 2nd in Rugby Africa, they get into this tournament. And excitingly, I think this happened in the last week, Paraguay are in it. So Paraguay beat Brazil twice to qualify for it. That was a big shock. No one saw that coming. Everyone thought that Brazil were going to walk Paraguay. For people who don't follow South American rugby, which I appreciate is probably quite a lot of you, Paraguay have been picking up 70-point and 80-point hidings forever. Like if you look at the record wins by most South American teams, it's clearly come against Paraguay. They are the whipping boys. So for them to beat Brazil back to back to qualify by big score lines as well, massive shock. Massive shock. It says a lot about things going wrong in Brazil, but it's exciting to see Paraguay there. So Paraguay, Samoa, Belgium, and Namibia are all playing off to see who qualifies. So if you're cheering on Namibia, it's going to be tough. I think Samoa should be favourites, but we've said that before.
No, we'll definitely be cheering on some Namibia, an African team. Of course, we're going to. And lots of strong historical connections between Namibia and South Africa, by the way. So definitely going to be supporting the African team. All right, enough of that. So let's get back to the reason why this is a shortened podcast, and why we actually decided to do one quickly. Lots of news.
My jersey.
I'll talk about it just now. I was planning to do it slightly differently. No, don't interrupt me, man. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, let's jump to your jersey. I mean, seeing
Okay.
that you're chomping at the bit here. Show me your
Well,
jersey.
normally we do it first. I just want to make
Yeah,
sure
but I
that the
want to
podcast
see,
is on track.
it's a different day. I want to change things up a little bit, Just not people fall asleep or something.
Okay, so I'm wearing a Scarlets jersey again. So this is
surprise,
an
surprise.
this is an alternate Scarlets jersey. So my schedule had down to wear a Scarlet jersey. And yes, when you own 50 rugby jerseys, you do need a schedule for which one you're going to wear. And the Scarlets are making me sad at the moment. How are they making you sad, Huw? They're making me sad by being bad at rugby.
Losing against the Lions.
Yeah, losing against the Lions. It was really bad as well. It was really bad as well. Terrible performance. But I had in my schedule that I was reviewing a Scarlets jersey this week. So I have bought one. It looks like this. It's not red. You may have noticed. It's got red bits to it. It's an alternate jersey. It's from the 2008-2009 season. It's made by Cougar, which is a great company. It's very heavy. The sleeves are particularly heavy. So this is a 17-year-old. This is a 17-year-old jersey. These are all stitched, fully embroidered badges on it. The previous owner of this, I bought it secondhand, has kept it in phenomenal condition, absolutely phenomenal condition. Now, it's probably not my favorite design of jersey, and the Scarlets are making me sad, but at least it's in very good nick.
Yeah, it's like being a Lion supporter in South Africa. Almost being a Bull supporter at the moment. We'll see how that goes going forward.
You've won 3 out of 4. Calm down.
The good thing about the Zimbabwe thing that you just mentioned is you've got a jersey coming your way, adding to your collection.
Hopefully. I suspect that promise might not be kept. But it turns out that unlike the Blue Bulls and unlike most teams in places like Australia, you can get Zimbabwe jerseys shipped to the UK. So
there you go.
There's a Christmas
What does it look
present
like?
It's white and green horizontal hoops.
Oh, like province, but just green.
It's like province, but green, yes.
So there you go. Unimaginative, boring. Sorry, Harry. I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about the squads announced this week. The Springboks. Let's start with the Springboks for the tour to the north. Big thing that happened today or yesterday was lots of dependence on Jan-Hendrik Wessels as either a prop or a hooker. And now he's suddenly banned for 9 weeks. We'll talk about that just now. What did you notice about the squad? Who's going to get the boot? Who's going to be retired? Who's going to ride off into the sunset? What's your thoughts on this Springbok squad selected for this 5-match November? Tough itinerary.
It's interesting. I found it interesting. I think there being 5 Stormers in it. Obviously, Ben Jason has come back in.
Eric's over the moon.
Yeah. John Klein being included is interesting to me. If you look at John Klein's, obviously, he's only got 7 caps. And he's, I think, over 30. Because it's an interesting one, because he's got to be good to justify his inclusion for me, because he's clearly not one for the future. And if you look at his injury record, you're going to expect him to be out injured again any moment now. So that's an interesting one for me. That's the one where I'm kind of like, why is he being brought in? Of course, we need to talk about the fact that there's no Evan Roos, which Rassie has addressed very directly on social media in the last couple of days. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Well, this morning,
Yeah. I actually think that the story is less about who's been included and more about who's been left out.
That's what I'm asking.
So there's no Bongu Manambi, is there?
He's on standby.
Oh, really? Oh, so he's left out. There's a few kind of stalwarts who are not there. And as we know, our friend Harry does these breakdowns of caps, minutes, and age. And it suggests who's being phased out, in my opinion. And when I look at that, the players who I think are being phased out of the Springbok squad so far is that I think that Ruan Nokia has displaced both Lou De Jager and Franco Mostert. I think both of those are fighting for their place now, because I think Ruan Nokia is clearly in front of them. And When was the last time Handré Pollard played for the Springboks?
No, good point. He's still in the squad though.
Eden Park, the performance at Eden Park. Do we think that Handré Pollard played well in that game? Has he been seen since? Is Sacha ahead of him? Is Manie ahead of him? I think that Handré Pollard might be being phased out of the Springbok squad.
Ooh, that's a headline. You have to tell me why you think that, because from what we've seen, he'll definitely play against Italy starting and be on the bench some other games. Why I'm saying this, we had a video of Lekker Rugby Pod. Watch out for that one. It's going to be published on Friday as well, where we dove into each one, a team for each one of these games. And I don't think Handré will be phased out. I think Handré will be relegated to second tier. Let's call it that. Explain to me why you think he's being phased out.
Well, if you look at the performance at Eden Park, where he didn't play well, he hasn't played a minute since then.
Except for the Bulls.
Well, okay, he's played, for the Bulls. I'm talking about
not well.
Yeah. And Sacha, I think everybody is excited about him being the starting fly half. Sacha started all 3 games, and Manie was on the bench for all 3 games since then. And those were big games. That was against away at the All Blacks, and that was the games against Argentina to clinch the Rugby Championship. A historic, Rassie spoke about the pressure that they felt to win that championship, and to win the championship, they did not turn to the championship winner, Handré Pollard. I don't think his goal kicking has been amazing. Having said that, I don't think Sacha's goal kicking has been that amazing either. Whisper it. Are you allowed to say that in recent games? Maybe it's just a blip. We'll wait and see. And Tony Ball, man, you look at pick out to me the best moments where Tony Ball worked the best during 2025. Who was at number 10 during those moments? If you look at the performances that the Springboks have put in with Handré Pollard at 10, there's an Eden Park performance, which I was very disappointed in. The second game against Australia, which you won, but it wasn't amazing. And then I believe the first game against Italy, which also wasn't amazing. People were very unhappy after that game as well. People said it was a win that felt like a loss, which is very luxurious for you number 1 ranked teams in the world to have. I would just like my team to win at all, thanks.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, but so the signs are signing for me. Handré of the 310s has the least minutes. He's the oldest. And the performances that the Springboks have put in when he's at 10 have been less good than when the other 2 are at 10, in my opinion.
No, I see that. For me, it's, we discussed it the other day. That video got quite a few comments, because the moment you talk about Manie or Sacha, it's like touching a live electric wire. Things go haywire. The crowd goes mad. Yeah, that's interesting. You're right. Tony Ball works better with either Manie or Sacha, and I actually dare to say it probably works better with Manie. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, and this is the debate that we had, is that we think they play better as a team with Manie, but when Sacha's scoring a hat-trick every week, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. Okay. I'm going to make that the headline. So, all right. We're going to be doing an individual preview every week before every one of these 5 big matches, but we want to jump ahead a little bit to the France game, because for us, me and Harry, we think France is the biggest game. Our friend John Cardinelli thinks Ireland is going to be the biggest game. But France announced their squad now. We know that New Zealand was up in arms because they said France sent a B team to them to visit them in the summer and or winter for us here in the Southern Hemisphere. But what kind of a squad did they announce? Is it a proper one? Who's playing? Who's not playing? Is it the A team, A minus team? What are we looking at?
Yes, squad. It is it is the strongest squad. They haven't announced the team yet. It is the strongest squad that they are able to pick. France are not going to pick a B team for at home. They only do that away from home. At home, they will always pick the strongest team. And that's what they've done. There are injuries, lots of injuries. Piato Malvaca, the hooker, is injured. Winnie Antonio, the tight head, is injured. Yeah, where else do you want to go? You can have Huw is injured in the back row. Anton Dupont is still injured. And Thomas Ramos is missing due to family reasons. But it's still the strongest squad that France can possibly pick. And if you write down the team on paper, you think, well, that is still a bloody strong team. You know, Damien Panot, Louis Bielbiret, both still playing. Roman and Tamac will be playing. Gregory Aldridge, Thibaut Flamont, their first choice loosehead is fit. And all in the squad. So it is the strongest squad that France have available to them. Yes.
So if Ramos is not there, I know that's not because of family reasons, like you just said. I don't know what the family reasons are. Who's going to be playing in his place? Who's good enough to take his spot?
Well, Ramos is better than all of the other options, but it will probably be Leo Barret, who plays for Stade Francais. That's the person that Galtier has turned to whenever Ramos has not played fullback. It's always been Leo Barret.
So just jumping around a little bit, what do you think of the chances of Japan repeating an upset of the World Cup 2015?
Absolute zero.
Well, they said it before 2015 as well.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
That's what made it a shock. So it will be a big shock again. The Springbok team now is a lot better than the Springbok team then.
And the Japan team?
Not as good. Not as good.
Yeah, they lost against Wales. I mean, that says something, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Sorry to rub that in a little bit. Listen, we're not going to make this a long one. I want to jump ahead a little bit to the Welsh chairman of the Judiciary Committee, who just decided to ban Jan-Hendrik Wessels for 9 weeks for something that you can't see on any camera anywhere. Now, you're a Northerner. I've had lots of comments about...
Yeah. We are not a team, right? How many times do I have to say this?
I'm talking about
you
mindset.
Southern Hemisphere people.
I'm talking about
you
mindset.
Northern Hemisphere. We are not a team. We don't like each other. We're not on the same team.
No. You're in the Northern Hemisphere. For me, that sort of punches you all together. I'm kidding. But the point I'm trying to make is there seems to be a bit of a bias against South African or Southern Hemisphere teams, but against South African teams.
No, there isn't.
There is. Tell me what
there
what
isn't.
Why isn't there?
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not ridiculous. 9 weeks for something you can't see on any camera. Come on.
Look, I didn't realize this whole thing. I saw the news that he'd been banned. I'd heard people talking about it, because I'd done a podcast with an Irish creators since, and they said obviously the Connacht player got a red card for punching the guy or trying to punch the guy, and the reason that he punched him was the grab of the genitals. And I saw people posting about it during the game, so I thought, it was just clear as day on the TMO. People had seen it, but now I've got people telling me, oh no, it hasn't seen it. So okay, that's changed what I believed. So look, if there's no evidence, then you can't prosecute. I've seen players say, look, I've got bite marks on my arm. I've clearly been bitten. And the referee's gone, well, there's no footage of it happening, so I can't do anything. And nothing happens. Maybe you guys down in South Africa just need better lawyers. Is what you need. But yeah.
We've got Harry, by the way.
Well, yeah. If I don't know. I was going to say, if he has done it, then I think they're right to take a very, very hard stance on it. But now apparently everyone's saying that he didn't do it. So, like I said, during the game, I saw
saying he
people
didn't do it.
did.
They can't see that he's done it. And the argument is the following. Murphy is claiming that he was grabbed for 5 seconds and twisted consecutively. And Harry's argument, which I agree with, is if you were grabbed there for 5 seconds, you'd be squealing like a stuck pig. You'll be making some sort of a gesture. You'll backpedaling, trying to get away from it. Not after the maul is finished, then start hitting the guy at the back of the head. Very clearly, it was never 5 seconds. And
so why does he hit him then?
Well, I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? What the Springboks going to do in the next World Cup? They're going to lie at the bottom of a ruck where Anton de Pont is, and they're going to say, "Listen, Anton de Pont grabbed my nuts. You have to send him off. You have to believe me. This is my argument."
Yeah, look at the mighty South Africa, top of the world, and all this victim complex. Absolutely incredible.
Well, if we're being victimized, we are victims. It's not a complex. It's a fact. There's no evidence, and you get a 9-week ban for no evidence at all. There's no admission of guilt.
He done it. When Joe Marler grabbed Alwyn Jones, he got 11 weeks.
Well, you could see it. There's a difference. There's no evidence that he did. He denies that he did it. So you can't just go on something that says I was grabbed or hit or whatever. You have to see it. Like you just said, there's a bite mark on the guy's arm, but they can't see where he was bitten, so they can't do anything. So now they couldn't see it that he was grabbed, but they still banned him for 9 weeks.
I have reached out to my contacts, and an Irish friend of mine has replied to me and said, you can't see that he did it on the video. Yeah. So if you can't see it on the video, I agree that in the legal process, if there is no evidence of it happening, unless the Connacht player wants to, pull his pants down and show us all his horrible bruises. If there's no
Apparently,
evidence
there's
of
no
it happening,
bruises.
if there's no evidence of it happening, it's very dodgy for them to have proceeded with the ban. Yes, I agree that.
That's my question. Why would they proceed with the ban if there's no evidence? And would the same have happened if it was an Irish player doing the same thing? Let's say Jan-Hendrik started squealing and saying that he was grabbed by an Irish player. Would the same rule have applied?
Well, you'd hope so. You're asking me to accuse the people of cheating, MV, and
No, I'm not asking. I'm asking your opinion.
so I don't know. I don't know, because when Ireland played Fiji and Sam Prendergast took a Fijian guy's head off with his shoulder and got a yellow card, I said if that would have been the other way around, the Fijian would have been given a red card and banned for 6 months. So, I'm a hypocrite, aren't I?
I'm not accusing you of hypocrisy. I'm accusing the Northern Hemisphere judicial members of hypocrisy. Anyway, listen, I want to get back a little bit to Evan Roos. Rassie, saying this morning on Twitter, where somebody accused him of asked him of saying, what's the story with Evan Roos? Why is he not there? And he's saying, no, he's a good player. He'll probably be there in 2027. Do you think that's a clever move by a national coach to say a player that's not in the squad will probably be there in 2027? I think that's a bit of a dodgy thing, a bit of a problem.
Well, if you're someone on social media and if someone is on social media and then you reply to them with a question, you shouldn't be shocked when you get an answer. I think Rassie is probably just trying to dispel the drama that has been kicked off about Evan Roos. He's probably aware that there is a very large proportion of South Africans who think that he should be playing, especially because of how the Stormers are playing and how he has been playing for the Stormers. I have to say, just as an aside, I'm very skeptical of Player of the Match awards at club level. I have to say, I think the Player of the Match awards are picked on narratives and who they want to interview on full time, rather than who is actually the best player in the game. That's my opinion. So here, look, it's my turn with the conspiracy theories. And obviously, the link there being that Evan Roos has been getting Player of the Match awards for the Stormers in their unbeaten start to the season. I thought it was pretty well accepted that Rassie didn't rate Evan Roos. And all head coaches of all national teams are like this, where there's a guy who plays the house down at club level and the national coach is just not having him. Every single country has a player like that. So I thought that Evan Roos was just that player for the Springboks. Rassie maybe is just trying to be overwhelmingly positive. When you say that you shouldn't say that on social media, I feel like the thing that we're kind of upset about is not what he said, it's just that he said it. But isn't this what we want? Don't we want our people at the top of the game to be more accessible? So for me, I don't think Rassie's done anything wrong.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's a guy with very few followers, and Rassie actually answers him. I don't have an issue if Rassie's been known to do that in the past. That's what he was saying. That a player that's on the fringes, a lot of debate about him, and now you're saying, he will probably be there. And I'm saying that in the context of a guy like Elrich Low coming back, a guy like Cameron Hanekom coming back, Jan Augustus being in the running. Who's to say that Roos will probably be back? I'm not against Evan Roos. I think he's been playing out of his skin. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm asking. That comment that he made, in the light of who's not playing at the moment, who might become available a bit later, isn't that a bit of a risky statement? That's what I was asking.
Well, assuming that the 2027 World Cup squad comes around and someone remembers this and asks him about it, and Evan Roos isn't in the squad, he can just say, yeah, I thought that at the time, but then other players played better, and so I picked them.
Well, then why not just keep quiet then? Anyway.
Someone's asking me a question.
Yeah.
He's allowed to answer it.
Yeah, sure. That's true. Listen, talking about the Stormers, 4 games in a row now, unbeaten, and everybody's singing their praises and hallelujahs, including Harry. This weekend they're playing against Benetton. What was Benetton's form so far this season? What can we expect? Do you think the Stormers might pull off another victory away from home?
I think they're probably favourites. It's that Benetton are hit and miss. Sometimes they may be good, sometimes they may be not. And it seems to be home that they're all right, but away they're bad. So this game then being at home probably makes it more likely. They rotate a lot. Benetton have got a very good squad, but they rotate it a lot, and they underperform. Benetton should be top 4 of the URC based on their squad quality, in my opinion. So, yeah, you just never know what you're going to get from Benetton, I would say. They could be amazing. They could be terrible.
Are the Stormers doing well because of the relatively poor opposition they've been playing against? Is it basically flattering to deceive? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I think that there is a case to ask, are the Stormers flat track bullies? I think maybe they are. However, they nilled Leinster at home. So that's not very flat track bully-y. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, we're only 4 games in. I think they have done well. The thing that bodes well for them is they've only conceded 4 tries and they've nilled teams twice, which is impressive in any competition by any rugby team ever. Like I said, Namibia have scored a try against the All Blacks at Rugby World Cups.
Yeah, I remember.
So
you said it.
So it is impressive. No, there's no denying it. Sterner tests await.
The other big game this weekend is the Bulls playing against Glasgow Warriors. Finalists last year, 2024. Always a bit of a grudge match. The Bulls lost that final, but they subsequently beat Glasgow at home in Scotland. So what are we expecting this weekend? Franco Smith says his team is up for it. The engines are revving. I quote him. What are you thinking?
They're playing well in the opening rounds, Glasgow. They are playing well. They lost to Benetton, interestingly, out in Treviso in a low-scoring game. But surely you Bulls fans don't need me to tell you anything about Glasgow. You lie awake at night thinking about them.
The Black Devils, Johan calls it, a friend.
Yeah, they're playing well. But Franco Smith is just is coaching a team that knows what they're doing. You never see Glasgow looking around at each other going, what do we do next? What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Who's standing where? What's the call? Glasgow always know what they're about to do. It's very impressive. Just a well-coached team with I think Franco Smith is getting the most out of the players that he's got. And it's going to be tough for the Bulls, because if it's true that your Bulls team that has won 3 out of 4 of its opening games is actually terrible, then I think they might be in for a hiding.
That's interesting. Well, I was about to ask you that, because just looking back at last week against Connacht, we haven't had time to talk about it, opportunity to speak about it. Winning by 1 point after leading by 8, very close to the end, and having to wait for the conversion to be taken twice to see if they've won the game or not. That, again, is not a convincing performance in my books.
Well, I asked an Irish journalist who was there at the game, did the Bulls win it or did Connacht lose it? And he said that throughout the game, the impression that he got was that the Bulls were always the better team. That he felt the Bulls were on top and had the advantage for the whole game. And the only way that the Bulls are going to lose games like that is if they switch off. And unfortunately, we have seen, even going back to the Jake days, that the Bulls have a habit of switching off in the second half.
Yeah,
so that I would say that's what happened.
Yeah, what do you think? Lose concentration? I mean, take the foot off the accelerator. They were just steaming along, like I said, 8 points towards the end. And that move, Keegan Johannes kicking the ball dead from a kickoff, scrum being taken, and then there's basically a set move that they couldn't stop. I mean, the guys, Willie Leroux had a bit of a dodgy tackle there as well to keep them out. Why can't they defend against a set move like that?
You have to ask them. You'd have to ask them, because it's not new news.
I don't think they know. Yeah.
They should have had plenty of time to contemplate this, because it's not new. It's not the first time it's ever happened. So why do they keep switching off? It's a great question.
Listen, talking about the Scarlets.
No, do we have to?
We have to, because we have to talk about South African teams, and of course Scarlets are playing Sharks this weekend. And the Sharks, with 13 Springboks, lost against Ulster last week. So Ulster and Australia and All Blacks were the only teams to beat the Springboks this year. You saw that little meme going about.
Yeah, I see Ulster now ranked number 1 in the world.
Yeah. What do you think? Sharks, can they actually win a game for a change? I mean, they've gone 4-0.
Yeah, so have we. Well, we've only got 3-0 because we.
You spent 12 hours on a plane, yeah.
Well, my friend who is another Scarlets fan, said he was looking at the tries conceded column And he was looking at the scouts going, oh, that's not so bad. We haven't conceded that many tries. And then he remembered that we've had a game cancelled. So that's why. Look, right. Talk about your best opportunity. The Scarlets are the worst team in the league. So if you can't beat these, that means you're the worst team in the league.
Interesting thing, though, I asked John Plumtree what went wrong last week, and he says he didn't know.
Oh, for God's sake, John.
Oh, it's crazy that.
John, do yourself some favors. Maybe just don't talk anymore.
Shame. He's not a man of many words. I mean, if he's got even fewer than usual. Shame.
What went wrong? I'm not sure. What? Someone in the crowd could give you a better answer than that.
I don't know. There's big trouble in Little China there, if you ask me. There's going to be some big upheavals, I'm sure. I'll tell you what, I think one of the biggest problems is that the players are running that union. The tail is wagging the dog. That's what's happening. Yeah. Talk about Lions versus Ulster. I mean, that should be a foregone conclusion.
What, for Ulster, you mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Ulster picked up a few injuries, and Ulster are a team that they get like 2 injuries and they start to fall apart. And the Lions should have more confidence at home now, having beaten the Scarlets. God, I tell you what, MW, people had a field day with that 1,700 people crowd that turned up for the Lions. Welsh Rugby Twitter went absolutely bananas for that.
And not in a good way.
Yeah, Welsh Rugby Twitter is never anything in a good way. But yes, the Ulster, you would see, because Ulster are not only unbeaten, they've had a game called off as well, which is why they're not top. They're 3 from 3, and they are maximum points. They've had a bonus point in every game as well. So if they can go 20 from 20 in terms of points from the start of the season, wow, that would be impressive. No one would have seen that coming from Ulster. So
what's changed?
It's a great question. And I asked this as well. And I think injuries has a big say in it. I think that they've gotten a lot of players back. They seem to have loosened up a bit more in attack. They brought in some new coaches. They brought in 2 new assistant coaches for this season. And they seem to be, so far, on a very limited sample size of 3, seem to be having a positive impact. And they've had kind of an okay start fixture-wise. They had the Dragons and the Sharks at home, 2 poor teams. And they've gone away. No, sorry, they had the Sharks away. So who did they beat in that other game? I can't remember now.
The Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
Does that a Freudian slip that? I mean, was that intentional?
That's funny. So I think momentum, players back fit, new coaches having an impact, and momentum is what I would put it down to.
And Jarno Augustus.
Oh, all right. And Jarno Augustus.
I have to bring the South African in somewhere. Okay, I've sort of jumped the gun a little bit, but give me your 3 games of the weekend that we must
Which ones do you want me to pick? Do you want to dictate them to me again?
I'm going to leave this week up to you completely. I'm not going to influence because you've made it very clear, and I got so many calls and hate mail and everything about influencing your 3 games. So I think go for it.
Okay. Game number what? Sorry. Get my pen.
You have to have the thing, yeah.
3 URC matches that you must watch this week. First match, Leinster versus Zebra. No, only joking. Don't watch that. But Glasgow versus Bulls. For me, this is the game of the weekend on Friday nights.
Yeah.
A repeat of the URC final, not last time, but the time before that. A grudge match. Last season, the Bulls went to Glasgow and put on a very impressive performance. One of the performances of the season by any team, in my opinion, to beat Glasgow away from home and to kind of give them a bit of a hiding until they got some consolation scores right at the end. It has to be said. Kane Moody, I remember in that game, played absolutely sensationally. I was massively impressed. It's going to be a big challenge. The Bulls in less good of a form. Handré Pollard, yet again, not selected to play in this game.
Yeah, but because his baby was born.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Just give him
I didn't know that. Fair enough. And the Bulls, despite having won 3 of that first 4 games, the vibes are not good. Whereas Glasgow just coming up of having battered the Ospreys last week away from home. And Glasgow, Scotstoun is an extremely difficult place to go and win, which is why it was so impressive when the Bulls did it last time. So this is 2 teams that most people would expect to be in the top 4 come end of season. So it's exciting. It's one of the matchups, one of the grudge matches of the URC. Game number 2, Dragons versus Ospreys. Gosh, I'm picking two Dragons games in a week to watch. So this is another Welsh derby. I think I'm always going to favour derbies in these selections. The Dragons have a good record over the Ospreys. The Dragons' only game that they won all of last season was Ospreys at home, and that's what this game is. 5:30 UK time on Saturday. It's a great opportunity, I think, for the Dragons to kind of get a result on the board. It just seems to be one of those games that they just manage to win year after year. Ospreys, though, should be better than the Dragons. I mean, they have better players and they have played better up until now. They had a very disappointing performance out against Glasgow last time out. Will we see the likes of Jack Morgan and Owen Watkin and Ryan Smith return for this game to get some game time ahead of the Wales November tests? We shall wait and see. There is, of course, starting spots on the line for Wales. So I'm always going to pick a derby to be in my top three games. And the final game that I think you should tune in to watch, annoyingly at the same time, so you'll have to double screen, is Benetton versus Stormers. Benetton at home are better than they are away. Benetton have a phenomenal squad. And of course, Stormers are unbeaten, looking to hold on to their place at the top of the log. If the Stormers go 5 from 5, including 3 away wins and nilling Leinster, that's an extremely impressive start to the season in anyone's books, not to be sniffed at. Well done, Stormers. Whereas if Benetton managed to be the first team to defeat the Stormers, that tells us that they are at least putting on a challenge to get into the playoffs. I think that Benetton should be challenging for top 4 in the URC. For them to miss out on the playoffs entirely last season was a massive underperformance, in my opinion. And they're suddenly in a position where they are looking like they need to start getting the wins. So there should be a lot of internationals on display in this game, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, great, man. Thank you. That was good. Thank you for this opportunity to just do a quick one. I don't want to miss a week, so thank you. Once again, I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
This is the Loose Pass Rugby Podcast, only on Megaphone Rugby.